and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we'll see how to use the database workflow node to pull information from a table in your database into Clappia and use it in real time inside your workflows for things like sending emails or alerts or using it for other apps. Let me show you how. Let's say I have a table in my database called sales leads data with fields like ID, customer name, email, phone number, stage, and priority. I'll be using this data inside my Clappia app. And in my Clappia dashboard, I will select this app that I created earlier. Now, this is a very simple example I will be showing so that it is easier to follow. When a user makes a submission in this app, I want Clappia to immediately check the database table, get the required data from it, and then send out an email. To do this, I'll go to Design App. After you have finished creating the structure of your app here, go to Workflows. Click on Add Step and select the database workflow node. Configure it on the right-hand panel. I'll leave the name as it is. Select the database type. I'll choose MySQL itself. Enter the host name, then the port. For MySQL, it's usually 3306. Then give the username and password. Finally, the database name. Once you click on Authenticate and it connects, you will get additional fields for entering the query. In database query, I'll type in. What this means is, from the database table, I am checking customer name, which will be matched to the app. To match it, I use the field variable from the app that is used to type in the name, as you can see over here. So if the name in the submission matches with any from the table, it'll extract the data from there. You can also see that the variable name for the customer name field matches to the one I've added over here. And customer name, as I've typed it here, matches from the table. The data to extract from the database table should be mentioned in the output fields. So here in the data table, I have the columns for stage and priority. To get that data in the output field, I'll give the name of the column. First, I'll click on Add another field and input the column name. These should match the column names exactly as they are in the database. Click on Add field to add more outputs. Then click on Save. Now, this is just the setup for getting data from the database table. And as I mentioned earlier, I want to use it in an email. I will add an email node right after the database workflow node. Set this up on the right panel. If you want to know how the email workflow node works in detail, you can check out our other videos linked in the description. But it's quite simple really. Type in the email ID of the person to send it to or use field variables. For this example, I will give in my own email address to test it out. Give a subject. Then in the body, I will use the data extracted from the database table from this database workflow node. Just type in @database, which is the name of this node which I did not change, and you can see the variables for the outputs that I added, which is for stage and priority. Select it. I have selected the outputs for priority as well as stage. I'll save this and that's it. Now let's test this out. I'll go to App Home. Now here in the name field, I will add a name that is already there in the database table because in my query, it has to match field to table. So I'll use this name. I'll fill the rest of this app. I've just filled in some random details and I'll click on Submit. Now that I made a submission, based on the workflow, the data will get fetched from the database and an email will get sent to me. And since I added the output variables in the body of the email, it should give me that data based on that person's name from the database. So I'll just open my inbox. You can see I have received an email. And you can see the data here matches with the data table, with stage contacted and priority high. So that's how you can fetch data using the database workflow node and use it in your Clappia workflows. Like I said, this was a very simple example. You can get more data from your databases to send emails or alerts or even use that data to add to your Clappia apps. It all depends on your requirements. If you need help in configuring the database workflow node or any other feature in Clappia, you can request support by clicking on the button over here at the top, select an option, and you will get in touch. Thank you.